All right, good evening, everybody. System Chalk here with, I believe, the 10th episode of Cultist Simulator, the Librarian run, playing as Ivan Vucetich. So we hit a nice milestone in the last episode where we have cleared out Oriflamme's auction house, and not to make too big of a deal of it, but the reason this is a big deal is that when... yeah, not to make too big of a big deal, but it is a big deal. Sorry, I'm not thinking about what I'm saying here. Yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but the reason why this is a big milestone is that it is the reason why we had to reset in the previous run. And so being able to get to a point where my, getting distracted during a run to Oriflamme's, that's just it's nice to have that off the table. It's one of these points where I can count that as progression, and basically just, if you can remove a possibility of a loss off of the table, that's nice to have. So if you had something that made you immune to despair or immune to a season of visions, for instance, that would sort of count as a good thing as well. Might make the game a little bit less interesting, but that would, I think most people would say I'm happy with that outcome. So, there's a couple things that I want to do, and honestly, I'm going to need to think a little bit about... Really, what I want to be thinking about at this point is how do I manage my time most effectively here? So there's a few things that I can do. I could found a cult with my Knock lore, and I could slowly turn these people who are currently hangers-on, I could turn them into followers. I could get a whole bunch of acquaintances right away and turn that into and then found the cult and then put them in. One reason why I kind of want to make a decision one way or the other on that is generating a cult, I believe, is going to generate a notoriety, and so when I do that does matter. And then if I can, it would be nice to get access to the woods. And to be honest with you, I believe it is Lantern or Moth. But given what Knock is, you can see how Knock might also be a relevant lore. In any case, we'll figure it out. We've got a minute before we can do anything right now. But yeah, that's the main goal at this point here, is to get the Season of Despair out, get myself back on track in terms of health and so on and so forth. And essentially what I need to do in terms of my goal of getting one of every book, that goal essentially is... I'm not going to be able to do anything with that until I can do expeditions. And of course, for expeditions, at minimum, I'm going to need secret histories. I don't necessarily need followers. I can always pay for help. But at a minimum, I'm going to need followers. Or at minimum, I'm going to need places to investigate. And of course, I'm going to be reluctant to find places to investigate. For the simple reason that if I, how do I put it? Like, if I turn those secret histories into vaults, effectively I'm going to want to keep Rhaenyra occupied forever. Otherwise, I'm essentially just giving her free access to all those books that I want for myself. Anyway, I've improved my Sanskrit. So many words, such little time. I will keep my reference works close to hand. Alright, I don't think there's anything for me to do with the study verb right now. I am doing my unskilled labor to deal with the health problem I'm about to have, but other than that, I think we leave things as they are. If hunters found notoriety, they will try to use it to create or upgrade evidence. If they're meticulous, they'll always succeed. If they're erratic, they're more likely to fail, but they can occasionally create evidence even without notoriety. I'm going to take another trip to the Ecdysis Club. The entrance is lost beneath soft drapes of crimson, cinnabar, and incardinite. Above the door, the club motto, Ingi rum imis nocteet consumi mer igni. It has been rendered as into the night's circle we fly until the fire enjoys us. Night's performance is a desultory affair of flapping scarves and earnest flush. The audience turns to conversation. My strength attracts comment. Not all of the comments are compliments. I draw my pay and leave. So I'm not going to use the dream slot to restore the health. I'm going to need to get past the sickness. But I'm protected now. Investigating a target. The more renown I use, the better. More reason I use, the better my chance of success. Okay, Season of Ambition's coming up. No clue as to whether or not it's going to be Rhaenyra or myself that becomes the subject. And we did get some contentment from this, which is nice. I've spent the evening swapping theories with a table full of charlatans, posers, and perhaps initiates. Some of these theories may be true. So this is good. The contentment should get picked up in a moment. Despair abates. And I am safe for now. My adversary has not enough evidence to bring a case against me, and they found no new clues. So this would be a good time for me to consider founding a cult, because I don't have the same risk of notoriety as before. Come with me. All right, we've got Victor. Victor is a sly fellow, and he knows an unusual opportunity when he sees it. You may be able to recruit this acquaintance as a follower. So here is one. Oop. I'm going to try something here. So there's no guarantees that this will work, but we're going to put passion into the dream slot. I know this dream. The road crests the hilltop and the air is silver bright. So it does turn out that we can use knock to access the Mansus. This is good news for us. Locksmiths often have the dream after the sole of the foot is wounded, especially if it has been snake bitten. I could try that. My investigation has turned up no new leads, which is fine. We're doing this for the money. Investigating a target. The more reason I use, the better my chance of success. His illness has damaged my health. I will need to rest before I'm fully recovered. And it is Rhaenyra that picked up the trail. So another season of suspicion coming up, just as well as that I didn't found that cult. Although it is tempting to do so. Here's another who would ascend before me. And this is a murderous scheme, so this is going to have some consequences. I limp along the road, and so it is that I see the serpent in the ditch. I follow it across the waste places and into the root maze. Is it hair that brushes my face or hanging moss? I bend low to stay close to the earth, like my guide. I will not forget the way to this place. Alright, so we have a buzzing in the brain. That's going to turn into restlessness and then dread if we don't find something to do with it. Now, I am going to try and go even further. The White Door. There is a house in the wood. I know enough knock secrets to find hidden paths through the tangled trees. And the clouds part. The wolf despair prowls elsewhere. No dread empowers this despair. It's over for now. Scheme to murder a hunter is afoot. A rival intends to end a hunter. This may be to my advantage, but it may also draw attention. So I think in this case, the weary detective will be picked up by the investigation first. The constant clatter of closing doors, the damp stains on the station walls, the smell of boot polish and unwashed constables. All this narrows to a single crystalline truth. I've made progress and earned myself some overtime pay. So, more night terrors. It does seem to be associated with progress in the investigation. I don't think that's specifically it. I wonder if it's just if it keeps track of the number of times I've done something like this. Investigating a target, the more reason I use, the better my chances of success. So this isn't quite the same threat. Well, this is a threat though. So maybe a trip to the Ecdysis Club. Nope, because I need to use the health to... Okay. We're just going to leave it be. An adversary is asking searching questions about my activities. Okay, we're going to get rid of that restlessness in 37 seconds. And these are the bounds around the house, with their mists and their traces. This is the rock called the Temple of the Wheel, as high as a church spire, patched with black lichen and daubed with eye signs. I round it, and there ahead of me is the white door, open as was prescribed so long ago. Okay, there's a house in the wood. I know enough Nock secrets to find the hidden path. Okay, cool. So the white door is going to be a little bit more of a challenge here. So in my dream, we'll read the descriptions here. So we've got way the wood. I've learnt the path to the wood, the tangled darkness that grows around the walls of the Mansus, that the Mansus has no walls. I can dream with this to return to the wood. Or actually, no, hang on. Yeah, I will be able to go further. Sorry, I was thinking of something different. In my dreams, I pass the white door, which has been called the bone door, and the gate of ivory. My voice remains outside the house each time I enter. Okay, first things first, let's clear out the affliction. All I need now is time. I'm going to talk about esoteric matters. Talking publicly about the invisible arts will attract attention. Perhaps that's what I want. Rival intends to end a hunter. This may be to my advantage, but it may also draw attention. And my mystique has attracted this hunter's attention. They can prove nothing yet, but they'll keep looking for longer now. I like this idea that I'm working at the Suppression Bureau and I know that this murderous scheme is underway, so I've just left something to keep the weary detective on my trail a little bit longer. Anyways, I don't have any mystique to throw at the problem quite yet, so we'll take that restlessness. This should have an impact. This may generate a fascination, which is unfortunate, but it may also generate a contentment, which would be good. And it's a free turn. I won't pay for the paints this time. The sick room grows close and stale. Time to get up. Alright, let's start going to the white door. Now I don't think I can use the knock to advance anyway, so in my dreams I know the path to the white door through the bounds, but the path is thronged with the dead who pass that way. I will need health to resist their chill. So there is a question, why go to the white door when I haven't fully explored the wood yet? It's a reasonable question either way. One thing about the wood is it does give me the higher level secret histories for a start. So like the worst that I can do is to get the next level, but I do need those basic levels. The thing is, like, I don't use any of the secret histories at all, so it's mostly just I felt like doing the white door over the other. I also obviously am using my passion in a painting, so actually yeah, I don't think I could even make it to the wood if I wanted. Right, exceptional work. This is something special. It may provoke a reaction. Yeah, I can't actually get an acquaintance because I used up all my passion. That was silly of me. Alright, my recent work has attracted a couple of callers. With luck, something will sell. So I've got a glimmering There's the contentment which I wanted. But yeah, I did eat up all my passion. That I didn't think that through. And Season of Ambition's coming up, so it's possible Rhaenyra may not hit us on that one. We'll see. I'm safe for now. My adversary has not enough evidence to bring a case against me, and they found no new clues. And a scheme to murder a hunter has ended without consequences. Perhaps this was for the best. Okay, we definitely don't want the icy atmosphere, so the Orchard of Lights and the Lodge of the Sage Knight may wind up giving me fascination. I'm trying to think if either of these gives me something. Yeah, it's not clear which one would have been better. I recall my dream. This was the Lodge of Blue Silk, flapping in the winds of the bounds of the Mansus edge, and here is its mistress, who welcomed me as she welcomes all travelers. Company is nice, she confided, but I still miss my Christopher. 10 years. 10 years and not enough. But we could not have been long together, not without touching each other, and you know what occurs when a man long lies with a long woman. Or perhaps you don't. I hope you don't. I won't tell you just in case. I'll give you a gift. So we'll leave the glimmering to the side. I mean, I could turn these into a lesson learned, but we'll give it some time. Right, I could not muster the passion to bring them into my circle. Perhaps another time. Alright, so there's a temptation here to rest with my health before going back to the White Door. Nope, I think I'm going to go back. And we are going to... Okay. You know what? Yeah. A new beginning. Together we might be more. Found a mystical organization. Here is someone I might work with, a companion or a follower, but first I must give them something to follow. A society, a sodality, an order, a cult. So, I'm gonna get hit by the notoriety one way or the other. I might as well do it now. So, choose founding principles, tradition and compulsion, old, new, or both together. Add lore to determine your cult's founding principles. There's a couple things that actually make the Society of the Holy Wound reasonably attractive for this style, but we'll talk about that, because I could be wrong. I could be wrong too. There's a couple things that may not actually be as important as I think they are, but still, I don't hate the idea of doing Society of the Holy Wound, let's say. And I have begun my true work. The authorities will take an interest in it. I must be ready for them. I'm almost out of tea. Okay, so we're going to start talking about lore soon. The Season of Despair coming up. And progress, okay, and this time it didn't provoke night terrors. The constant clatter of closing doors, the damp stains on the station walls, the smell of boot polish and unwashed constables. All this narrows to a single crystalline truth. I made progress and earned myself some overtime pay. Investigating a target, the more reason I use, the better my chances of success. And the clouds part. The wolf despair prowls elsewhere. No dread empowers this despair. It's over for now. Okay, we don't want the restlessness, so let's go back to the Lodge of the Sage Knight. Subtle fracture. That's actually potentially quite good for me. The White Door opens. Last night, in the great pavilion above the grey sprawl of the Bounds, a woman who once called herself Teresa Gallagher sat on gilt-fringed cushions and offered me a horn cup of dream wine. The wine is imaginary, she explained, but the cup is not. To navigate the Mansus, one must understand the distinction. Perhaps one day you'll join me on the pilgrimage, or I'll join you. So here, let us share a secret. And her breath tickled my ear. So this is good. If we study this, we would need more. So in this case, with enough pressure, the skin of the world will tear. Add any matching influence to subvert it to a higher level knock influence. And of course, we need the knock lore to do so. Alright, a sacrifice of pain. The hour we serve still requires pain. I must give of myself. Which also suggests to me that maybe I should be going for fresh air and exercise. My first recruit. A cult with one member is only an unusual habit. I must have a recruit. My rival is considering an expedition. In this case, there's no vaults, so we're in good shape there. Okay, our rise begins. I have founded my cult. This is a step to a greater power. Use your cult to recruit and promote followers. Talk with followers about your cult to send them out on cult business. Victor is a sly fellow, but loyal. I've got an injury. I need rest and nourishment if I am to recover. The Mother of Ants looks kindly on wounds. Dreaming with an injury before this card fades will also allow you to recover health. We have your temporary headquarters and the Society of the Holy Wound, an occult society dedicated to the hours which open doors. You can use cults with a talk verb to recruit or promote followers and to send them out on errands to gather resources. A believer can be promoted to a disciple. A few gifted disciples can be exalted even higher to keys. So, the first question I have here, let's say we'll put the temporary headquarters and the cult here. So, what I'm thinking of, if we take the cult, Victor, right. Yep, we definitely can upgrade them. So, promote a believer by invoking knock. My follower will kneel as a novice and rise as an initiate. I will administer the necessary oaths myself. So this is important to remember in terms of my trips to the Mansus. If I can get knock influence, I can actually advance my followers reasonably quickly. There's another detail that you may have noticed by how the study verb works, but I'll talk about that later. So investigating a target, the more reason I use, the better my chances of success. I've neglected my studies, but I stand a little straighter. So here we will recover the injury before I go back to the Mansus. All I need now is time. It's a shame not to have my study and explore verbs being used, but that should change fairly soon. My rival seeks tools and lore for their own ascension. Season of Visions, I want to be a little careful, and we've got 148 seconds for this notoriety, so if I can, I would like to generate as much mystique as I can. I don't have high hopes for avoiding the evidence, but we still have a chance. The wolf despair prowls elsewhere. No dread empowers this despair. It's over for now. Okay, so let's start. So, she who was flesh, I offer my wounds. To she who was stone, I offer this moment, where the old self divides from the new. To she who came from light, I offer my secrets. The door is opened. Victor has sharpened his cunning to a concentrated point. So, let's go talk about esoteric matters. Talking publicly about the invisible arts will attract attention. Perhaps that's what I want. Progress. The constant clatter of closing doors, the damp stains on the station walls, the smell of boot polish, and unwashed constables. All of this narrows to a single crystalline truth. I've made progress and earned myself some overtime pay. Actually, there's another thing that I can do here. Let's see if this works. I can never remember how to change the headquarters. Yep. Move our organization's headquarters to a new location. This will permanently relocate your headquarters. No return is possible. It can reduce notoriety. Investigating a target, the more reason I use, the better my chances of success. Okay, so we've gotten rid of the notoriety threat. The sick room grows close and stale. Time to get up. I don't need to go back to the white door right now, so we will spend some time in the wood. Now I pass between scarbark trees. The moon passes behind branches, though her fingers remain in my hair. I'm stumbling over roots now. It's tempting to drop to all fours to avoid the low branches. Pale wings move deep in the night. So the reason why the Society of the Holy Wound is advantageous here, one of the first things that I'm going to want to do... So, first of all, if it does turn out that knock allows us to go through everything... So I'm pretty sure, like, Lantern and knock basically let you go through every level of the Mansus. It would, again, be consistent with those principles. I could be wrong about it, but let's just say, for the sake of argument, that's how it works. It's at least useful. Like, sometimes it's useful to just have a plan, and then, you know, if the plan doesn't turn out, that's fine. You can always sort of reorganize around your updated information. But if you're just sort of scrambling around without really thinking about anything, you know, you can't really expect a whole lot in that case. So the idea here is that if it turns out that knock is sort of this nice, you know, key to everything, one of the things that I can do to advance as, you know, arbitrarily high in the Mansus is to just keep employing higher and higher levels of knock. Now, because knock is this absorbing state in terms of study, it would seem to me that even, like, so when I get my secret histories, even if I don't want to turn them into vaults right away, I can still use them to subvert them into knock lore, and then I can double up the knock lore to get higher levels of knock lore. And then from that, so number one, that unlocks higher levels of the Mansus to me, but it also means that I'm able to level up my characters to disciples, even without the influence, although I'll probably want the influence as well. So again, it's a working hypothesis. It's not necessarily something that will bear out. And again, maybe there's only so much that having that knock will get me, right? Like, at some point, I'm going to need other components. Right now, having lots of knock lore isn't going to help me summon anything, and summoning things would be very helpful in terms of being able to get the the vaults handled. But also having high-powered followers would be a good way of getting those vaults handled. So, you know, it's at least a start. And this is one of the reasons why I feel okay about it. And again, it may turn out, so if secret histories can't be subverted into knock, if it turns out that I can't get higher in the Mansus just using knock, you know, these are things that'll make me reconsider that position. But right now, it seems to be a reasonably effective way to spend my time, on top of using the lore to get new people in. So no address is ever really permanent. Like our bodies, we leave them all in the end. But for now, this is home. The lesser elements of Miss Moreland's stock yet remain. Over time, strangers drift with books to sell, and sometimes we indulge them. Okay, so at this point, I don't have anything I want to study. I don't think... I mean, I can always send Victor out to explore, but I don't know if that really gets me anything. Alright, my investigations turned up no new leads. So, once again, we use the evidence. Let's see what the wood gives us, and then we can finish for tonight. Okay, well, we definitely don't want the buzzing in the brain, so let's try the Temple of the Wheel. A subtle flaw, fair enough. Laces uncoil, windows swing open, locks move as if oiled. A second-order influence apparent to the perceptive, instantly recognizable to an adept. This can be used in some rites to summon minions. Now, I think... there's a couple things that would be nice about this, but I don't think it'll turn out this way. So I was just thinking, right, you can... oh, hang on, because this is lower level, so you can actually subvert some of the influences. But apparently you can't with a fleeting reminiscence. Nuts. So it's close, but not perfect. Now, I mean, it's not that hard, right? Like, it's not that hard for me to generate erudition or, you know, or any of these others. So this is interesting, right? I can definitely see situations in which I would maybe want to keep some erudition or glimmering around to be able to level up the subtle flaw. Because again, being able to have 4... so if you could think of it, you would have 4 influence plus the 4 that we already have. That's 8 influence to throw at a, you know, to throw at some kind of a, an initiation or an upgrade. Sorry, it's not an upgrade, but you get the idea. But yeah, I'm actually feeling pretty good about where we are right now. So I've got a few options ahead of me. Part of what I'm focusing on now is not just how do I achieve what I'm looking for. I'm actually reasonably confident in terms of... I don't know if I've got the full path to the end, but I think I've got a game plan for most of what I want to try and do here. But there is a little bit of finesse in terms of how I get there, and also in the context of doing videos, I want to try and be somewhat timely, at least, in terms of being able to pull it off. And that is a kind of an open question in terms of whether or not I'm going to be able to pull that off. But we'll see, right? I've got a few ideas about how to do this. But overall, we're going to be spending some quality time in the Mansus. We're going to swell our ranks as much as we can. We're going to avoid arresting Rhaenyra, and insofar as dark moods take us, we will try and get around that as well. But all of that is for a future episode. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.